Welcome back, everyone. The days following an argument can be awkward.
So how do you reconnect after a huge falling out? Heather Buer from Valley Christian Counseling Center is here to show us how it's done. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Hot topic. Hot topic. It's a good one, though.
It's a very good one.
We are wired differently, and that it's reflected in arguments, isn't it?
It really
Males,
is.
Females.
So before we can really talk about how to reconnect after an argument, we need to talk about what some of the dynamics are within the argument that can foretell how the reconnecting is going to happen afterwards. So one of the things is just the difference between males and females. You know, women are wired for emotional connection and conversation and verbal exchange and face-to-face types of things. Men are wired more for side-by-side types of things, not face-to-face confrontation like that so much. And so when women are, you know, at the guy, at her man, and he's maybe kind of being silent. I just see this a lot in marriage counseling. You know, he doesn't really respond or says something that makes her feel like he's just not on the same page with her.
Not even listening, yeah.
Not even listening, which I don't think is his intent at all. I mean, I don't think that men intend to, you know, try to show their wives that they're not interested, that they just aren't wired the same way. And so while women want to sit and talk it out, men aren't wired that way, and we have to be careful because as women, if we are going after them, and I'm guilty of this. My poor husband out there will, he will say that this is true. Just there's this, and this other thing from 10 years ago, and all of these other different things, because really women have the memory of an elephant, and men have the memory of like an ant or something. I don't know. I've heard other therapists say this too, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
But so being able to let men have some time. That's a really important component, because what can happen is men can become physiologically flooded. Flooded is kind of the word that I've brought up John Gottman before. He's kind of the guru in the marriage stuff right now. But that's his term, in terms of not only is he emotionally flooded, but his blood pressure will rise, his face might flush, his hands might sweat, and those are signs that he needs to have a timeout. And I often tell my couples in counseling that it is totally fair, and even though it's really hard, it's good to take a timeout. But you have to agree to a time where you can come back and, okay, we're gonna go walk around the block or have a snack or whatever, and we're gonna set the timer and come back in 20 minutes or an hour or whatever, after the kids go to bed or something.
So here's my question, because I'm assuming that most of you can sort of tell, feel, see that the man's like checking out or just, okay, I got it. So why do y'all keep...
That's how we're wired.
Yeah, because we think that by continuing to ask questions, that will elicit some sort of response from him.
Because that's what we do with females, right?
Right. The continued conversation, the kind of the exploration of things, digging a little bit. Yes, that's what we do. If we were to go out to coffee, Andrea, we'd sit across the table face to face and just talk about each other's lives. And men aren't wired that way. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's, we're just simply different, and that's okay. We just have to learn how to work with each other.
So is there anything that men need to keep in mind for women? I mean, they should realize how we are too.
Yes. Men should try to realize that women really do need to have that emotional connection. And so saying things like, okay, I want to talk about this with you, but maybe not, could we meet together in like 30 minutes? Or, something where he lets her know that he is interested in her and that he cares, because what happens is then when a guy gets flooded and he kind of just becomes silent, then she just takes that as meaning he doesn't care. And I don't think that that's generally the case. I mean, sure, I'm sure there's people out there who don't care, but
in general.
But in general, I just really don't think. I think men and women are both generally well-intentioned, and until we really, really hurt one another and really get into a pattern of nastiness, then that's a whole nother story.
Okay, well, I want to talk more about this with you, but we need to take a quick break.
Okay.
Okay.
30 seconds, right?
Good to have you back, Chris.
We'll be right back.